Rocket Ethereal here. Today my goal is to get good or die trying at Darkest Dungeon. I just picked this up in the summer Steam sale and I've heard fantastic things about it. In fact, an up-and-coming YouTuber named Seth Orvin is somebody I'm going to shill right off the bat because he's the best Darkest Dungeon YouTuber I've seen so far. So if this looks like the kind of thing you enjoy, I recommend going and checking him out. Darkest Dungeon, as far as I know, is a turn-based role-playing game in which your heroes will constantly suffer from debilitating mental conditions that fall under the realm of insanity and panic, as this game is based somewhat off of Cthulhu mythos. Now, unfortunately, that's all I know about it, as I really enjoy going in blind. So, apparently, the name of my dungeon is just Darkest. I'm just assuming this is supposed to be a profile. Okay, there we go. I am aware that this game is actually in early access still, but it seems to be relatively complete. The definition of early access on Steam is so muddled anymore because you never know.
You will arrive along the old road.
You know what? I'm just going to let the cinematic play.
It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside.
I love the writing in this game.
Leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Normally, I would not simply let the cinematic play like that, but judging from the intro cinematic, which I played before beginning this recording, the cinematics are incredibly well done. The monologue there was beautiful. It shows off the art style so well, and it sets the tone of the game very effectively. So I just wanted to kind of show that off before I start going about this. I'm assuming that the tutorial is going to be minimal because not only does it make contextual help available on every screen, as per what I saw in the controls screen before I started, but it doesn't seem like the kind of game that really wants you to know exactly what you're doing, but rather one that would have you do a little bit of fumbling and making mistakes. I am currently in a room, according to this help screen. As simple as clicking on another room. Okay, so I've got my little party of 2 people here. I've got a highwayman and a crusader. So there's different classes that most of which I just don't have access to begin with because it's just going to start me out with this little tutorial party.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Controls could not be much more simple than this. Okay, so I just kind of move them around like this, and then suddenly something appears.
Thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Click a skill icon, and then click on a highlighted target. If you can't select a particular skill, it's because that hero needs to be standing in a different spot, or there are no valid targets. In other words, there will be some attacks that require the character in question to be in front or in back, which I assume pertains to melee and ranged weaponry. Okay, so it gives me access to everything that the Crusader has to offer right off of the bat. Let's see, so I've got a melee attack that does bonus damage versus Unholy, which I assume would be Undead. A ranged attack that loses damage because it's ranged. A melee attack that will guarantee a stun, but deals less damage. And Torch. I don't know what that means yet. I would guess that's going to be some sort of light mechanic, like keeping a lot of light around the party is a good thing. and it buffs the defense of the Crusader. But right now, I'm just going to start the fight by stunning this poor brigand. He got buffed for some reason. Okay, so stun resist. He received bonus stun resist immediately after being stunned. So there's mechanics in place to keep you from completely stun locking enemies. Very clear. Okay, so the Highwayman's turn. He seems to play a bit dirtier. You can see he's holding a dagger and a pistol there. Open vein. Not quite so accurate. Actually, I think the Crusader had about 80% accuracy on most of his attacks. So, actually a bit more accurate. Doesn't deal quite as much damage as the Crusader's one, but does the damage over time for 3 rounds. There is a lot of abbreviation going on in these skill descriptions. Pistol shot is not available. I would guess that's because our clumsy Crusader is standing in the way of the Highwayman. Ranged attack that does half damage and is less likely to crit? I'm not quite sure. Oh, you know what? I'm starting to understand. Okay, so you see those little beige and red dots at the top of the ability? The beige dots are telling you what positions you can... Well, maybe not. I thought it was what positions you would be able to use the ability from, but I still can't use pistol shot. And if that was true, then he would be able to use it. Whereas it appears that the dots on the right will tell you which spots on the enemy party you can attack. So in this instance, Grape Shot Blast is good because it attacks all of the first 3 spots in the enemy party. Obviously that would be inefficient in this instance. And then his final ability gives himself a slight bonus to accuracy and to crit chance. So let's just do a basic attack here, because that seems to be the most effective thing. So he resisted the bleeding effect, so he took the damage and ignored the damage over time. What I don't understand at the moment is why the Highwayman is going first again. Maybe that would be due to the speed stat. He just has a much lower or higher speed than the Crusader, but let's take a look at that when I actually get to use the Crusader
As
again.
the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Okay, so I got some gold. Gold greases palms, builds empires, and instigates murder. An excellent and apt description. Continue our little jaunts through here. Okay, that was odd. Interactive objects. While exploring, you will often find interactive objects, blah blah blah, to investigate them. Take a look at this tent. Clearly where the ambushers camp. Check inside the tent. Brigands left valuables.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
So, I'm guessing you're kind of just risking something by checking each interactive object. Okay. So the gate itself is interactive. Great.
An ambush. Send these vermin a
Brigand
message.
blood letter?
The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer
And a
welcome.
Fusilier with a gun, blunderbuss. So the big guy is really resistant to stuns, so I have to question whether it's worth taking the hits to my damage in order to try to stun him. Now their speeds are 1 and 5. It kind of bugs me that I can't actually check on the Crusader stats when I am using the Highwayman. Oh, but now I can use my pistol shot for some... Oh, okay, you know what? I think I was right the first time. I think those beige dots do indicate the spots that you can fire the ability from. And the reason I couldn't do it last time was because the enemy was in that first party slot on the enemy team, which I could not attack. In this instance, this chest, I think, is filling the first party slot for the enemy party. I think that's what's going on. Now, if he only has 12 health, the question is it in my best interest to Grape Shot Blast and try to hit them both, or Am I able to actually... Okay, I can just pistol shoot him for almost half his health. That was good. Okay, so I can either take minus 67% damage and have a 50% chance of stunning this guy, or I can just do the full amount of damage. Or I can buff my defenses. And, you know, I think that's just the best way to do things. Alternatively, I could hit them both for Zealous Accusation and take out the Fusilier on my Highwayman's next turn. I like that idea. Let's do that. Oh, you know, I really thought that was going to hit them both, because the two red dots were connected on that side. So I guess I still need to figure out just how that works. Rain of Whips. Okay, some sort of special ability. Both of my characters are now bleeding. Bit of ominous dialogue from my Crusader, who apparently did not enjoy being lacerated. Nice chunk of damage when I want to do it directly. Blanket Fire for hitting both of them. And you can see the details on their status effects by mousing over the little icons over their health bars. So that's handy. It kind of helps me to calculate just how screwed my party members are. Time to finish off this Fusilier.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
No quarter indeed. He likes doing low bits of damage to both of my party members. But he's not going to stand much of a chance on his own. Oh, calm down. There's not that much blood. Yes, I'm aware you're bleeding for 1 point of damage per turn. Stop being such a wuss. And this brigand is about to suffer. My Highwayman has definitely taken quite a beating since I started this fight. He's down to less than half of his health.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Okay, I can't just click on the chest. Let's see, 4 crests and anti-venom, which will undoubtedly come in very handy in the future. Something doesn't look quite right with this one. You know, I'm just not willing. If it's telling me something's wrong with it, I'm going to leave that alone. Ah, there we go. Okay, so there's 4 kinds of heirlooms. It won't really tell me what the other 3 are. It looks like, I don't know, busts, paintings, scraps of some sort of literature, and then crests, which I actually got here. I got some serious gold for actually completing the quest. Everything else was just kind of a side bonus. I am not sure why... Oh. Okay, I'm guessing that's some sort of... Yeah, that's like a passive perk. So from being part of that quest completion, my Highwayman gets extra damage in ruins environments. That's good to know.
Welcome home, such as it is.
He's not looking too good.
This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of goals. I guess this is the victory condition? That much is still a bit uncertain to me. But apparently there's a lot of bosses it wants me to kill. Now, what is all this stuff? The horrors I've seen. What horrors? You fought off some cheap bandits and one of them was big and had a whip. You'll be fine. Oh, okay, that's the activity log. This is the trinket inventory, which I have not gotten any trinkets for. And the options menu. Okay. Fallen heroes, recruit new heroes. Now, a note on this. Right after the opening cinematic, it tells me that I am going to permanently lose a lot of heroes. Death is permanent, and I guess I'm just not going to be able to do a whole lot about that. My goal is to minimize the number of heroes I actually lose. I'm guessing I'm going to see a lot of names start to come up here as I start progressing through the game. Ancestors' Memoirs. What is this? Okay, so this is like cinematics. Some creepy stuff in here.
Women and men,
You'll need
soldiers
to
and
recruit these
outlaws,
2 heroes to fill out a
fools
party
and
of
corpses.
4.
all will find their way to us.
So it's
now
not
that
actually
the
going to
road
give
is
me a
clear.
choice. I get a Plague Doctor and a Vestal.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked
Notably, it
battlefield?
doesn't actually cost me anything to add those 2, so maybe they already belonged to me. Upgrading the stagecoach increases the available heroes for hire each week or increases your roster size. In other words, when my heroes start to suffer from various effects, I can switch them out for heroes that may have a bit more constitution left in them. Now, I'm guessing that this is the cost of upgrading, and I can't actually... Oh yeah, I can upgrade because I do have 10 deeds. Deeds are used to upgrade town buildings, so that doesn't just go for stagecoaches, it goes for everything here. Sanitarium. That must be how heroes restore their sanity after they've gone through a particularly stressful dungeon. So, you know, I think I'm going to start by upgrading both of these things. Seems like a good beginning investments to
Great
make.
heroes can be found even here, in the mud. and
Okay, so
rain.
I don't think there's much to do other than go on another quest here.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
That freaking monologue. Stop complaining, Reynold.
A mecca of madness
A
and
mecca
morbidity.
of madness and morbidity.
Your work begins.
Okay, everything's locked except for the ruins. Complete 100% of room battles. Simple enough. How do I go? I would like to go adventuring, sir. Stop refusing. You're going to go and you're going to like it. Oh, okay, I've got to fill out my party slots here. Okay. Now, I want to keep the Crusader in front. You know, it doesn't seem to matter where I put the Highwayman. I would really like to look at his moves right now. I would like to see the details on his abilities on the screen, and it irritates me that I cannot, because that would help me really put them all in the ideal positions, because I don't know what their ability ranges and spots where they're able to use their abilities actually are. You know what, let's go ahead and put the Highwayman in seconds, put the Vestal in third, and the Plague Doctor in the back. Provision.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold.
For your first short quest,
Later,
try bringing at least 8 food and
blood.
4 torches. So it's giving me a chance to purchase some useful materials before I head out into the grim dark once more. So let's buy 4 torches and... Now, I get the feeling that this tutorial is going to try really hard to kill one of my characters before it actually ends. So I think I'm going to buy some extra stuff for this. Alright, so now I've got enough rations for 3 instances of hunger, which should be good. Let's get a couple more torches just to be safe. And then I've got some various materials for curing other ailments, giving myself some ability to unlock things with the shovel and the skeleton key. The undead will not bleed, but they can be blighted. Pleasant.
The fiends must be
Okay,
driven
this
back.
is looking more
And what
like an
better
actual
place to
dungeon.
begin and the seat of our noble
Move to this
line.
room. So when you click on the new room, it kind of, I guess it starts the journey to that room itself. A stack of literary treasures in an unlikely location. The volumes are desiccated and unremarkable. What is this? It says, the sacrifice of fire is the gate to ruin. Place a torch if you crave the void. What if I don't crave the void? I don't know, I'm kind of wary about all of this. So now that I've made it to this room, it's kind of showing me what's ahead on the paths before me. There's 2 webs here and only 1 web here. Both of them have some sort of chest toward the end. I'm going to take the 1 web and be safe. Disarming traps. Scatter traps will be visible on the ground as you approach them. Select a hero and click on the trap to attempt to disarm it. Some heroes are better at others than disarming. How do I know who is best at disarming? Logically speaking, I would think that the Highwayman is, because he's the closest to that sort of cunning rogue. But I have no way of knowing. I am not armed with information here, and it's kind of frustrating. Ow. Okay, well,
Ancient
shoot.
traps lie in wait,
That's not okay.
unsprung and thirsting for blood.
The light is fading. The current torch level greatly affects many mechanics in the game. The darker it gets, the harder things get, but the better the rewards. Right-click on the torch from inventory to boost the light back up. Seeing as I'm early into my journey, I don't think having a really dark room is going to do. Reading a few pages has a lasting effect on the hero. Gift of the Healer. Did he get another passive? He did. It doesn't seem like it's, I don't know, very useful for the Highwayman. Oh, and the reason that it affected him was because he's the hero I have selected. So when you interact with an object, it has a chance of directly affecting the hero that you had selected when you click on that object. Let's move forward. Lots of skeletons. Bone Rabble, Bone Soldier, Bone Arbalist, 2 of them. They're all unholy, so I will have that damage bonus for my Crusaders 1. They have pretty low stun resistance. Okay. Since my Vestal is apparently the fastest, it looks like, I guess a lower speed is better. I'm not sure. Let's see, Dazzling Light, ranged attack that increases torch and stuns, does half damage. Party heal for 1 to 2 damage, very useful for those multi-hit attacks like we saw in that last battle. Illumination plus torch, so she's really good with light management. Debuffs the target's ability to dodge, deals less damage. She needs to be in one of the front 2 positions. But if she is, then she can't use Dazzling Light. Okay, so you have to pick one or the other. Because if you want to use Dazzling Light, she has to be in one of the back 2 slots. But if you want to use Hand of Light, she needs to be one of the front 2. And in the front, she has a nice damage boost against Unholy, which would come in very handy here. She does half damage. She really likes to do half damage. And she debuffs her target's ability to deal damage themselves. I think I'm going to start by making things really difficult on, let's see, minus 20 dodge on target. Actually, no, I'm just going to go straight for the stun. Let's just stun this guy in front. Oh, and it's a miss because I have a 20% chance of missing just about everything. Okay, let's do a Grape Shot Blast and hit all of these guys. Look at how effective that was. Excellent way to start the fight. Okay, bonus damage versus Unholy. Let's take advantage of that. Very efficient attack right there.
A faint hope blossoms.
Brief Hope Blossoms. That must be, I guess, a good thing for my character's sanity. Plague Doctor, always a fun concept. Noxious Blast. Still only gets to hit one target. Blight's 3 points per round for 3 rounds. So that's useful against undead. They very purposefully gave me a party that's excellent against undead, it looks like. Plague Grenade hits the back 2 enemies, blights them for very little damage, it looks like. Blinding Gas stuns, deals no damage. And Medicine, which cures blight or bleed all the time. It heals just a tiny little bit. I'm gonna say let's do a Noxious Blast. So, oh, he resisted with 1 health. That means I have to waste another attack on him because he's not suffering the damage over time effect of the blight. Ah, but I have Grape Shot, which means I can easily dispatch of him and still deal decent damage to the other 2 enemies. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, he's been blighted, so he's going to die on his next turn. Speed is 5. I need to figure out how to determine the order that everything gets played in. Oh, I can look at different stats. I just need to right click on them. Okay, that's really good to know. Can I right click on the enemy? No, I cannot do that. Miss! Vestal, you're not carrying your weight. I'm kind of disappointed.
A victory.
The Arbalist has not had a chance to attack yet, so I am going to make sure it does not get that chance. And it resisted the stun, even though it only has 10% stun resist. That's the thing that happens. It cannot bleed, but my Highwaymen dealt some very high base damage, so it didn't matter that the sucker could not bleed. Lots of rewards for that chest. An ornate sarcophagus. It's locked. I can probably open this with a skeleton key. A couple of busts and some gold. Nice. Now, what if I want to heal? Wow, it heals very little. Okay, so healing is hard. It's very difficult to bring your party up to full health, it seems. Move to this room. You can take several points of damage in one swing, but you cannot heal very much at all.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Such depressing monologue. You salvage the unburned torch. Nice. Rekindle that fire. Okay, a Bone Defender, 2 Cultists. 1 a Brawler, 1 an Acolyte. Sounds like a magic user to me. And a Bone Courtier. It looks almost harmless in terms of stats, but I'm guessing it has some sort of hidden utility that I'm just not aware of quite yet. Let's see, 24 health, 12 health, 12 health, 10 health. Let's do a Grape Shot here to start this off. And 1 more Grape Shot will destroy both of those cultists. Efficiency is definitely of the utmost importance in this game, for sure. Apparently he switched positions with his Bone Defender. I'm not sure how that works. Now, I can smite that Defender for some extra damage. I think that's the best option right now. Nice dodge. Let's see, who am I more liable to stun here? He has 25% resist, he has 38% resist. And they're the only 2 I can hit with that. Let's hit the Brawler. And he is successfully stunned. Excellent. Let's see, because I'm pretty sure the Brawler and the Acolyte are going to go down next turn. Well, actually the Acolyte probably won't. I think that 6 damage was on the high end of that scatter shot ability. Let's just use a plague grenade in this instance. Critical!
Well struck.
Nice! That was apparently a morale booster to my entire team.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Tempting goblets. Ooh, very bad for their sanity. Okay, so that's why the courtier that has almost no health is really dangerous, is because he will... No! That was the worst ability you could have possibly missed. Why did you miss that? That would have killed both the first and the last enemies there. Dang it. Okay, I don't like you, but you dodged it, so it doesn't matter. This could be going a bit better. Let's kill you. Yep. And let's stun you, because, man, you're a slippery little bastard. Knife in the dark. He dodged the attack, thankfully. You know, just because things are going so well, I'm going to do a heal here and give 1 point of health to everybody, except the Plague Doctor, because he didn't actually need it. You... Man! He just dodges everything. There we go. Scattershot got rid of him. I know that he was still blighted, but he might have had a chance to hit back. And he's taken care of.
This expedition at least promises success.
So I've been going for a half hour. I've gotten to see a lot of the basics. I've gotten to sort of sample what 4 different classes are capable of. And so far, I'm absolutely going to keep playing this. Now, I got it for cheaper than usual during the Steam sale, but the typical price is $15. And given the quality and the polish that we can see here, the promise of a lot of depth in Lovecraftian eldritch horror, and the good word of other people I trust on the subject, I'm quite happy that I made this purchase. Bit too easy to make a final judgment call on its quality, because I think I need to progress further through the game in order to really know. That's a thing that's... It has potential to change my opinion in every instance, but I think it applies even more here, because I get the sense that delving into the depth of this game and really starting to experience what it's like to have a party that's constantly and really struggling with the sanity and the health management is going to be key to my understanding of the experience I'm intended to receive from playing Darkest Dungeon. So I think I'm going to hold off on my verdict until my next video, but I'm definitely looking forward to continuing this series and either getting good or die trying at this game. In the meantime, this is Rocket Ethereal signing off.